This is a vid I'm doing where I'm trying to show where science meets spirituality. I've named it Are We All Spellbound? Because I have been definitely in the past, and I looked into it and I found a lot of things were very interesting to me, so I thought I'd share. Okay. I'll start. What motivates our way of thinking? The more I delve into this, the more I discover the importance of words and numbers and the energy they carry to whet your appetite of what is to come. We now have translated the first strand within our DNA. This is where science meets spirituality, if I can say it, head on. For the first strand in our DNA reads, God eternal within the body. Now, in case you're thinking this is going to be a religious vid, it isn't. This is totally science and about us. In my research, I've come to believe Jesus is was an actual king. He was an actual king. A king with knowledge gained from his ancestors in Egypt. Knowledge that has been kept from us for thousands of years. The knowledge of not who we are, but what we are. He told us not to look for the kingdom above, for the birds will be there before you, or below, because the fish will be there before you also. He was quoted as saying, "The kingdom of God is within you and without you." I believe he knew the essence of our DNA and our connection to the cosmos through energy, frequency, and vibration. The power of these three connects us all. The ancient god Thoth, look him up, he was the god of geometry, writing, music, and astronomy, said, "Order and balance are laws of the cosmos. Follow, and ye shall be one with the all." I believe he was also telling us that we are the all, and therefore we should live in a balanced state. To achieve this, we have to find the order within ourselves. So let's go with the science and three of those who have helped shape our world so far. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be destroyed. Think of that. Energy cannot be destroyed. Tesla wrote, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious. Carl Sagan wrote, "Science is not only compatible with spirituality, it is a profound source of spirituality." Words are carried by sound. Sound has been proven to levitate objects. To levitate objects. We also know we can change the pattern of a snowflake. Just by focusing love or hate upon it, it will change pattern. So let us acknowledge these facts in terms of our own physical being. The human body generates approximately 100 watts of energy, which can increase to approximately 2,000 watts depending on the amount of exercise taken. Crazy, right? The electromagnetic field, otherwise we describe as our aura, surrounds our physical body by 5 feet, resonating high and low frequencies as per our mood. Our brain acts as a transmitter, interpreting and manifesting the information of our energy into reality. Our bodies hold approximately 60% water. Remember the effect on the snowflake. Now imagine up to 2,000 watts of energy focused from one human to another. How would that affect the water within us? Is it any wonder we shake when we're upset? Not really. Imagine if one could manipulate words by habit and repetition. This would surely cement a pattern of acceptance without necessarily questioning the logic of the accepted rhetoric. For instance, we hear people accusing each other of being far right or far left, communist or fascist. Logically, these words are describing the same outcome. Operating under a one-party system, both interpreted as a classless society, yet ruled through dictatorship with an iron fist. Yet we use these onslaughts without speculation to offload our anger. Mad. The anger which itself is an electromagnetic energy attacking the opposite side, boom, only to be felt and reflected back as an intensified energy, so the ping-pong ball goes backwards and forwards, gaining stronger and stronger momentum in the process. So how do we get into these cycles of contrition? I believe it serves a purpose by those who seek to control or guide a situation. Propaganda, for instance, has been used by governments since time immemorial. Also, divide and rule to confuse in order to control its people has been achieved successfully throughout the ages. So how does this all work? Well, subconsciously and genetically, humans have had an inner faith with certain numbers and words going back thousands of years. Academics from Pythagoras to Nikola Tesla, they all attest to this. For instance, the number 3 is associated with well-being. It is mentioned over 467 times in the Bible alone. Therefore, it has become a trusted number within our psyche. Used against us, we could go round in circles, never achieving the balance needed for the populace as a whole to go forward in harmony together. Here are some recent examples how the power of 3 has been used to separate rather than include all humans under one umbrella for a positive outcome. First, we have Black Lives Matter, 1, 2, 3, plus the symbol of the clenched black fist in the air. This not only angered many whites and Asian people because they felt excluded, but also infuriated many black people because the movement was condescending to their life experience. Maybe the words justice without prejudice, showing a picture representing all races living in the UK, would still have momentum today. Now we have the climate crisis, again carrying pictures of a burning planet Earth. Once this movement was called climate change, then global warming. Now these words, they never took hold. However, by adding the power of 3 to include the word crisis and the image of the world burning to reinforce the strong energy of panic, we now have an acceleration towards the goal intended. Still, we are a divided people. Why? Because it offers an opinion, not inclusion. So maybe protect our planet with a symbol of people around the world surrounding her might have been a better approach. Now, what was, I'm reading this is why I'm stopping now and again. What was Novus Ordo Seclorum? And you have no idea what I'm talking about, probably half of you, but the words on every dollar bill. This translated means New World Order. It's great, strange, yeah, take it as you want it. New World Order is now revamped with these 3 less acrimonious words: build back better. It is the same momentum of control throughout history, but now we have 3 words that have been repeated over and over again by world leaders everywhere, yet the content of their new world goals goes quietly unnoticed by the majority, for who could argue with the words build back better? So we don't take much notice. Well, I do, but maybe, a lot of people don't. Not as nosy as me. Then we have the LGBTQ plus community. 1, 2, 3. Again, this separates us all. It is a community, therefore others are excluded. It also carries its own flag, which further excludes us all. I would much rather see a flag flying saying, celebrate our differences. Did you get that? Celebrate our differences. Because that would include us all and make the world a better place by inclusion. My take on it. You see, again, as in Black Lives Matter, I've come across people in the LGBTQ plus community being hurt by feeling they cannot criticise the aspects of it. Therefore, separation within and without. Are we getting a flow of kind of thing? This is all about separation and not inclusion, and the people that run these things, if they're going to do it, I think they've got enough people in the propaganda section to be able to include everybody to get all these movements, to go forward. You go forward with inclusion, not with separation. That's my point in this. There's another thing about this, but I'm not going to go into this. All these movements have one thing, or should I say one man in common, who's been known to destroy countries from within. But that's for another day. This is not about him. But I do say, when you're joining anything, go look at the people behind it. Go look. And with pandemic, I never looked and said, oh my God, we're going to die of this. No, the first thing I did was go to the people that were pushing the narrative, and the people behind it, the people in Sage. Very interesting. For another day. The power of three works extremely well with the pandemic. 3 statements appeared on our television networks every evening. Do you remember? Stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives, with the colours of the NHS prominent to reinforce the narrative once again. Later it became protect the elderly, me being one of them. There were many who questioned the rhetoric at the time, but yet again the power of three reinforced the message within the subconscious, enabling control over the people, even though many of the rules made little sense at the times. Can you remember the arrest of 2 women eating an ice cream on the beach? Yeah, that was a crazy thing, wasn't it? Remember also that we live in a 5-foot bubble of energy. Imagine that, 5 feet around you there is this energy which interacts with others in determining relationships. In the pandemic, we were separated by 6 feet. Can you imagine that? So we read each other. We speak to each other, but we read each other's energy as we're speaking. It's all part and parcel of us. We interact with each other's energy. This is why we get bad vibes from people, good vibes, bad atmospheres in a room, good atmospheres in a room. Now, if you're in a 5-foot bubble and you separate by 6 feet in the pandemic, the separation of energy interaction led to confusion. Now add to this confusion and cover the face. You cover the face. This is dehumanizing of people. And this is what led, I think, more than anything, to the increase of suicides. That's my opinion. But also it set back our children's development, the youngs, the babies and that. For it is they who absolutely rely on those interactions to understand humanity itself. Yeah, to understand humanity itself. Because they're sponges and they don't... And we robbed them of that. Now, I think that one of the main things about all that was unforgivable. So why do we constantly follow blindly without question? Maybe it's because we're a pack animal. We derive comfort and leadership from the pack leader. Therefore, we give him or her our trust. Our whole system throughout the ages has been based on judgment of ourselves. You think about it, judgment through everything is judgment of yourself. Schools, blah, 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 blah. It is important for ourselves to be seen as virtuous, not evil. Yet no one questions the impossibility of leading a life where one has not experienced the energy of both. If we can dismiss the need to feel virtuous, we can vehemently argue with each other and yet hold the energy of balance. Because neither party is in a defensive mode at the time. See, if we're not in a defensive mode, why are you in a defensive mode? Because you want to defend your virtuous argument. But if you get rid of the virtue, yeah, it's the energy. We have inversions of the truth everywhere. This is so true. That cement the energy of need and fear. For example, Baphomet is portrayed as really satanic, the Baphomet. It looks like the devil. Yet in fact he symbolises balance. as above with his arm, and as below. He shows up above, so below with his two arms, and all aspects of nature in balance. Lucifer is portrayed as satanic, to cement the fear of damnation. Lucifer is actually the light bringer, or the morning star. This is a cosmic reference to the planet Venus. Venus is Earth's twin planet, also symbolised as Aphrodite, which again symbolises the power of Rome back in the day. You know, these are all, you can line all this with history. I believe the Vatican have a telescope named Lucifer. I'm pretty sure they have. And everybody says, oh, the Vatican, you know, they've got Lucifer as a telescope. He's got the devil. No, Lucifer means morning star, light. Aphrodite, symbolised with the power of Rome. Yeah. Light is also portrayed as knowledge. The sun is the fulfilment of knowledge. This goes back to ancient writings all the way through. It's another day, for another day. Light is regarded as sacred in ancient times, because the light is where all things originated. Jesus was described as the Son of God, the Son of God, the S-U-N, not the S-O-N, the Son of God. And the halo depicts the sun behind him. 3 more numbers to acquire balance where there is none. So we're going to take another 3 that panic, fear. You know, we hold on to these numbers and go, oh, you know, if you see them with something, yeah, you know, you're looking at them. And that's the number 666. I'm going with the kind of the main ones in our subconscious, if you like. In Revelations, these are described as the mark of the beast. But if we take a balanced view of Revelations instead of the Armageddon version, we could align it to comparing the Jewish revolt to an earlier war. And I beg your pardon, I'll go with that again. We could align it to comparing it to the Jewish revolt, which was in AD 65 to 70, around that time. And to an earlier war between the North and South Egypt. They were making comparisons, you know. They'd gone through one in North and South Egypt, and they were comparing the Jewish revolt. Because, you know, the Revelations, if you think about it, that it was written by John. Jesus supposedly was in AD 30, but the revolt happened in AD 70 or and if you think about when the Gospels were written, they were written in about AD 70, AD. So I think they were actually talking about the times they were living in, the Jewish revolt. I mean, that's my take on it. You know, you've got to do it yourself. You have your own take on it. Now again, like the 666, right? Let's go for that then. So we've done the Revelations. As 666, this could be describing a carbon atom man, right? Because we are made from 6 electrons, 6 neurons, and 6 protons. So maybe they're actually saying, when they're going 666, that man is his own worst enemy. I think that's pretty true. I really do. I think, you know, we don't check ourselves or look at ourselves. We're too busy criticising everybody else around us. Right, good and evil have been the most divisive words in history, haven't they? Good and evil. You know, you're good. Oh, he's good. Oh, he's good. Take note. He's evil, you know. However, I choose to give these words balance of not only receiving and giving, but the power of intention. Now, that is a good energy. It's the receiving and giving and the power of intention. So we start with the word evil, right? And good. Now I'm saying evil and good instead of good and evil, which we always say. We say good and evil. Good comes before evil, you know, because good is better than evil. So you go, again, this is all to direct energies, right? But I'm going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to say, let's look at these 2 words, evil and good, because I say that if we do it that way round, I say that one is no more important than the other. Get it? Right. Now, if you give D, the letter D, to evil, the devil appears, right? If you take, give and take, the O from good, then God appears. So here we have the give and take. This is the receiving and the giving. Now we are left with two letters that spell do. To do is the motivation that drives our human experience. But your energy is so important because it is the intention before the action. Did you get that? I'll say that again. To do, we spend our life doing, we do everything. Everything is around doing. So that word do is very important. And it comes from good, evil, devil, God, right? To do is the motivation that drives our human experience. But your energy is so important because it is the intention before the action. If the intention is negative, the outcome will not be positive. This is what I believe to be the laws of cause and effect. So when we run into things or we do something, we have to look at the intention of what we're doing. Pause. Because if the intention isn't in a balanced way, then the outcome will be imbalance. Do you see what I'm getting at? So again, as all these different organisations and all the different things I've been talking about, so now the words become a lesson in balance, not separation. You know? Now God and the devil are not separate. They are within balance because they can teach us to do things. We have to balance even those words. Bring balance into every aspect of your life until it becomes a habit of what you're saying. And balance is worth the time it takes to get there. And it is easy. It isn't easy. I mean, I fall off the wagon all the time, you know, because I'm a fiery character. If I've got a point to make, I take a sword with me. My family tell you that. And when the energies hit you, you want to hit back. Yeah, I've been described as toxic in the past. But once you become aware of the energy you possess, it becomes easier to reel in the toxicity. Simply because you start to understand how to. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not saying we're going to be perfect, but stop looking around the world and complaining and start looking about how you are taking on all the good and the bad news. Then you can have conversations with people without feeling that you have got to be right. I've learnt from history, I've learnt more from being wrong, going down the path that's completely wrong, and I've had to go back and do it all over again. You learn much more by being wrong than what you ever do by being right. Anyway, I think that, you know, there's things that I've had to learn. I've had to learn. I'm sure we're all the same. You know, I'm no different to anybody else. So, but we must learn not to judge. That's one thing. That's hard, isn't it? Because we're always making judgments on people and everything, you know. But if you keep in balance, you can look at something. You can look at something in the eye, but you don't have to judge it. You can judge the action and everything, but don't judge the energy of the action. That is the person. Learn how to accept things that you can't change. We spend most of our life and our frequency and vibration and energy takes up a lot of time trying to change something that we can't change. So you know, it to accept what you can't change. You know, I'm not saying don't try to change things. That's different. You try to change things, and that is a good energy if you're doing it in a good way, in a balanced way. But if you try to if you're trying to change something that you can't change, or you're going to hurt somebody by forcing that change, then that is an energy that is going to strike them. So the things that you cannot change, you accept, and you go with what you have left, and be grateful for what you have left, because that is where the good energy, gratitude is the greatest energy on this earth. And that is why my third one that I always go is that always protect the vulnerable. Our energy should be there to protect the vulnerable, because by protecting the vulnerable, you are, I can never say this word, so I'm going to say I was going to say it anyway. When you're in that protective mode of the vulnerable, you are joined with empathy. Empathy is, to me, probably one of the most beautiful energies we have. Empathy, and one that we don't use as much as we should have, because we're too busy being judgmental. So so protecting the vulnerable on this planet, wherever you find it, because it gives you the energy of gratitude, the gratitude that you are not that vulnerable person or that vulnerable animal, whatever, that you look at it and go, you become grateful. Those are really good energies. Those, empathy and gratitude, great energies. If you, so to me, I think those three to me, they're the most helpful. Not to judge. I mean, I can have somebody, like I love politics. I love looking at politics. A lot of the people, I mean, one of the people now, with Matt Hancock, the way everybody's been going, oh, Matt Hancock. But you look at him and you go, well, without judging him, I'm not judging him. I'm judging the action. It's not about the person. Nothing is about the person. It is the action that So, but the trouble is, we take this so personally everywhere. Anyway, I'm going to finish because I think I've been going on too long. Just remember that our energy cannot be destroyed. So if we want to live in a negative energy, and we want to carry on and living in this negative energy and being fearful of climate change, fearful of what the government's doing, fearful of we want to think you've got, this energy is there. Every thought, when you go in, energy cannot be destroyed. So if you can, and I'm not saying that you're not going to receive, it's good to receive bad. It's good for bad things to happen to you. It's as important for bad things to happen to you as it is for good things, because without the bad and the good, there is no balance. There is no experience. Your energy is made up of the experiences that you live in this life, made up of good and bad. And you and I have never been good all our lives, so we mustn't pretend to be. We've been as bad as we are good. And to understand that within ourselves, to get and to balance that, and take responsibility. This is my main thing. Take responsibility that the energy of yourself. Don't let others manipulate that energy, because most of them, when it's we are manipulated by so many in government and organisations, And again, I think that the trouble is we do tend to follow. As I said, we are a pack animal, so we tend to follow it. It's So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. But I think that, remember, our energy cannot be destroyed. So, long after you're gone, I'm an old lady, I can go any day now. So I'm working so hard to get this balance. Every time I can feel the anger rising, I go, balance, balance. Come on, look at the other side. Look at the other side. Don't judge. You know what I mean? Go to something, let music help you. Sit there quietly and feel what you're feeling. And criticize yourself if you have to, you know what I mean? Which you have to, actually. Because if my energy is going to be here long after I've gone. You can't be destroyed. It's just going to be out there. And I like to think, the amount of energy that it takes for a little baby to come into this world. If my energy's going out and that baby's energy's coming in, I don't want it to be a traumatic experience for the little one. Okay? So I'll leave you with that. And thanks for listening. Thank you.